In our previous episode, we went over the reasons of why we decided to leave our aluminum hull bare instead of painting it. We raised our mainsail up for the very first time, and Matt went over our options for deck hardware, although we're still not absolutely sure what we want to do on this subject. Join us in this episode, where we discuss why we've decided to go with a composting head. I do some work with the companionway hatch to keep the pretty paint I just put on looking pretty. And Matt shows off all the work he's put in lately wiring our electronics.
So after last episode, in the controversy of going bare, we thought we'd really go out of the frying pan and into the fire with this one and do the composting head. Basically, one of the things we really like about doing this project and doing this refit ourselves is, since we know the whole bones of the boat, we know everything about it, we're not tied to anything. Things that we wanted to try, we've heard good reviews of. We decided we could implement them on this boat, and if we don't like them, 6 months, a year from now, something like that, we have no fears of tearing it all out and doing it again. Which, as you've seen with paint and a few other things, it's definitely true.
We like to do things twice.
We like to do things twice. It gives us a good warm feeling. The composting head came as kind of a result of a bunch of friends that have used them and absolutely loved them. Again, this is either you love it or you hate it. Most people have tried it and had it on their boat, love it, but a lot of them have converted back to a regular head. And we may do the same. I'm kind of a germaphobe, so the whole thought of this is a little odd for me. But again, we thought we'd give it a try. If we don't like it, we'll put in a conventional head. Not a big deal at all. Again, one of the motivations was the fact that there was no holding tank on this boat. Previously, it just went overboard. To install a holding tank required a lot of long hose runs and a lot of issues that come with that. And I didn't want to deal with it. This was just an easier solution. Also, in this area, we have a ring frame. One of the frame pieces come across. And what that does is that bisects the head. And if we were to use a conventional head, we'd have to build a pretty high step to place the toilet itself on, and it would make it very awkward. We'd have to do the squatty potty type of thing, and we'd need then to sit up on kind of a throne. This way, with building this in, we were able to build around it, and also there's a seacock, a valve in here, and you'll see it is extremely in the way. Bad location for it. Options were to cut it out, weld it shut, move it further, weld that piece in and call it good, or a couple of options. For right now, this was our best solution. So, just going to come around and take a look at it. We'll kind of show how it works. All right, this is version 1.0. We haven't used it. It's all clean, so no squeamish. Don't worry about it. The seat, normal seat, we actually got this from Europe because it's a cool D shape and it fits better. Inside, this is actually caulked on to get a seal all the way around. Basically, what you see is what's called a urine diverter. The big thing with the old composting heads were that they combined the urine and number 2, the solids, together, and that's what created the smell. If you divide the urine from the solids, what that ends up doing is that allows the good bacteria, the aerobic bacteria, the ones that go with oxygen, it allows them to form, and they're not the stinky ones. They're not the ones that create that holding tank smell that you usually have. So the good bacteria are in there decaying and breaking down the solid matter. The urine's diverted to a different little tank. So we actually bought this urine diverter. It comes from the UK as well. It's a fiberglass item, nice setup, has a nice big lip on it. So you're required to sit on this to go. So it is a little bit different, but it does have a big lip to prevent any splashback into the solids container. Inside, you'll see how it's set up right now. Basically, all it is a pipe leading to a hose, which leads to a 3-gallon jerry can container. This is just a generic trash can, a 5-gallon trash can that we got from the dollar store with a liner in it. My patented spacer stick. As you can see, version 1.0, it hasn't even been epoxied or protected at all yet. We had a little hump here with a framing piece, so we had a glass around that. This is plywood and fiberglass on top. One thing we do need to make too is we're going to make a fabric cover to go around, try to seal it as best as possible, and come up to this area across here. Again, this is in about the worst possible position it could be. Preferably you'd want this one big sealed area. We made it just kind of a well to catch anything that flows out in case. Again, this just sits in into this well. I had to recess it about 3 inches to get the proper angle. So how this works, this just plops into place. This again sits right here. So when this comes down, it just self-centers in, closes. The trash bag is right here. What we end up putting is we put coconut coir in this area. And the way that we're going to do it, the commercial available units have a churn crank and to kind of mix the solids. We will not have that. What we're going to do is we'll put the coconut husk, there's ground coconut husk, down at the bottom. And then after each deposit, we will take a little handful, sprinkle it over the top, cover it so nobody can see, just like what a cat does, buries its stuff. And then we'll move on and layer upon layer upon layer. Typically, we expect to get about a month before we need to empty the solids. The 3-gallon urine diverter container, that ends up being basically every other day that we end up emptying that, just make sure it doesn't overflow and splash out. That's basically the majority of the setup. The other thing too is you do need, because it is drying everything in here, you do need a fan with kind of creating almost a vacuum to suck the air out. And what we've done is we cut a hole in the back here. Nothing fancy with this at all. Goes in. This tube's basically just built in all the way here. Cuts in through here, flows up. You can see a little computer fan stuck in place. That runs 24/7. No real issue with power usage or anything like that. Wired in through this piece. Wired into a mushroom vent on deck that we can open and close just to make sure there's no water leaks when we're on passage. We can kind of screw it down. But what that's going to do is suck that air out, and suck the moisture out is a big thing. So you want to dry it all down to make sure that isn't a problem. Biggest thing that we really like about this is the fact that surprisingly there should be no smell. When the ones that we've used before have been odorless. There's nothing to it whatsoever. Unlike a typical holding tank, I'll just hold this with us. Unlike a typical holding tank where you have that smell every single time the pump's used. The other thing I really like too is it's silent. The old head pump type sound every single time you used it, middle of the night, woke the other person up. This silent. There's no noise to it whatsoever. So kind of a little benefit that I never read about, never heard anyone say before, but that's really actually something I really like about it. That is it pretty much for our head so far.
Yeah, we haven't tried it out yet, but we won't go through details when we do.
No, we'll just let you know. We'll give you a thumbs up if it works. If not, you'll see us ripping it out later episodes and putting in a normal head.
Although we still don't know yet whether our companionway hatch is going to be fully painted or have non-skid added to the top of it, I do know one thing, and that it's been recently scuffing up all of the pretty all grip paint I've just applied to it. To fix this problem, we've ordered scrim tape, which is an anti-scuff tape that will go on the insides of the slider and also the outside, so when the hatch slides open, it will run across this plastic track instead of just across the metal and my all grip paint. To get the areas ready for application, on the inside I had to do a very thorough sanding of all the metal to make sure there was no dirt or debris in the way. Due to the extremely small space of the area, this is much easier said than done. Using a bit of cruiser ingenuity, I strapped a piece of sandpaper to a spare piece of cherry trim to get into those hard-to-reach places. In order to do a final prep for the tape, I took denatured alcohol and wiped the areas down, both on the painted surface and the metal, before I could apply the tape. The tape we used was a UV-resistant Delrin tape that was 1/8 inch thick and between 1/4 to 1/2 inch wide depending on the area it was being applied. With it in place, our companionway hatch slides much more easily now, and we no longer have to worry about scratches to the all grip.
Well, it looks like my work for the day is done. Well, it looks like with all of my sanding yesterday working in this area, I have made a pretty good mess of the deck. And since our Kiwi grip has now had the proper 2 weeks to set, I think it's time that Elements deserves a good and proper boat wash.
We've been going over some of the electronic items, things that we haven't installed that have been sitting in boxes. Unfortunately, we made the classic mistake of buying all this stuff, thinking that we were going to refit this boat within 6 months. 2 years later, the things are out of date and warranty has ended. So one of the things we had an issue with is our VHF radio that we bought. It seems the Anima 2000 does not work. The bus on it does not work, and it's a hardware issue, and unfortunately I can't update the software, I can't do anything with it, and it's out of warranty now. So pretty much this $350 radio is not really worth much right now. So luckily I get to send that one in, and we'll see how much that's going to be to replace. So don't make the mistake of buying all this stuff, even if there's a really good sale like Defender had. Don't make the mistake of buying stuff right before you put the boat in the water or leave.
Unless you know you're going to install it right away.
Unless you know you're going to install it right away, or at least test it out right away. That was a big issue. We had that issue with bilge pump switches, with some LED lights, things that we purchased that we didn't test, put them in boxes, brand new, just left them in the boxes, and months later realized that they did not work. But anyway, so getting into this setup, basically to gain access to these things, they flip down. I haven't gone through and organized all the cords yet, so bear with us. But how these things flip out, left them long. There's actually a big loop on the inside, so everything's easy to access. This does have to be reorganized. Once I have everything ran, we're not 100% yet. Once I have everything ran, then I'll go through and get it so it's nice and neat the way it's supposed to be. So really, really easy access in here. because all the panels are removable. So it gives a nice big area. We're able to dedicate a pretty good sized area to just the electronics, the electrical system and the electronics. Back here, again, all the NEMA 2000 bus running through across the top here. Things that we do have: autopilot setup. This is actually the radar setup. AIS, Vesper AIS unit. The AIS splitter for the VHF radio. Of course, we saw the VHF radio and so on the door itself. This is actually something we're really excited about because we're doing videos and we need to be able to upload these for everyone. This is a long-range cellular amplifier. It's something by WeBoost, which is a Wilson company. Very, very good setup, so we should have that running in the next couple of days. We still have to put the antenna on the mast as the final approach for that. And then just our router for our Wi-Fi setup. And then the PoE, which is what powers that setup. So everything is nicely integrated, really easy to get to in here. So inevitably there's going to be an issue. There's going to be a problem. It's nice to be able to flip things open, be able to locate where the issue is, pull the cable out, tee it as necessary, remove that device as needed from the bus, and change things around each one of these locations. So this is basically the way we're at right now. We're going to use the stuff as is, and then we'll go through and reconfigure some of the things later on if needed. But this is pretty much how it's going to stay for majority of the time. One thing too is we do have, this is a 1,000 watt inverter. We do also have a 2,000 watt inverter, and that's going to be connected to a singular plug. And what we have that set up for is if we need to run power tools or something that require a little bit more oomph to it, we can plug that into a dedicated outlet with an extension cord and get through everything. This is the one because it's a little bit more of efficient of a unit. And the way that we usually use our inverter is we leave it on 24/7. It's always on, so it always has 110 or 120 volts available. In this way, we can have that, which is a more efficient unit, and we have the other one put away. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Let's see the chair really quick.
You want to see the chair?
Let's see the chair.
All right.
And here is our chair in place without the wheels, with the finished floor.
Ish.
Finish-ish. It still needs coats of
Still
varnish.
needs the varnish. You can see the varnish actually stops here and back there. And then I need to hinge it and put the final latches to be able to latch it down to hold it in place so there not things flying out of these cabinets.
And Matt's sitting in the chair, which he does fit in.
I do fit in.
He fits in it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like to sit in chairs. So it is mine.
Yes, I
It's
like to
all
lounge.
mine.
I like to lay.
So this is the moment that a lot of you probably came for, our big giveaway in the episode. Don't worry, we're not announcing the giveaway. We're starting it right now. And as you can tell from my shirt, we have opened our store, so we've got some swag in. And we want you to be the first people to have it. Store is just opening. But we did get a few things in, and to say thank you to all of you who are watching, and especially our patrons who are always there to support us and keep us going. We are doing a swag giveaway for patrons only, and what that's going to include is our sticker pack, which is one of the rewards at our $10 reward, along with postcards. So you get 2 of the black stickers with color, 2 of the blue stickers with the white logo, and then you also get one of our t-shirts, just like the one I'm wearing, kind of. This one is a unisex size medium and a Deep Heather Teal. It's got our logo right on the front here in the white. Very comfortable, very soft material. And then also something new we wanted to try is the tote bag. And the one that I have here is a all-over tote with an image of the marina I took when we were in Ponta Delgada, San Miguel, Azores. Just a nice little sunset picture. Our old boat Serendipity is somewhere in the back here. So we want to do a giveaway to say thank you to our patrons, which will include all of these items: the tote bag, the t-shirt, and the sticker pack. So if you're not a patron yet, don't worry, there's still time to sign up before we do this giveaway. If you check in the description of the video, all of the details will be listed of when we're doing the drawing.
But for you viewers that get this in the first few days, there's still time to sign up. We'll pick a winner at random and send you a personal message if you've won. So this is the first of our giveaways. Again, we just want to say thank you to our patrons, so that's why we're getting you in there first. There will be other giveaways in the future, and our shop is open now, so whether you're a patron, whether you're not, whether you just want to get some of our swag, the link is down below in our description, so you can feel free to browse our shop and see if there's anything in there that catches your fancy. But thank you for watching this episode. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.